Yeah. Yeah, that was so much fun. And I completely forgot that there was snow up there until you just told me. Yeah. We definitely have to do it again sometime. Yeah, well, my friends just walked in. I'm gonna talk to them. But I'm glad you called, Garrett. Yeah, I miss you too. See you, buddy. Sorry about that. That was my friend Garrett. We were talking about the time that we went to Mount Lacan and hiked it with some other friends of ours. Here, I'll show you a picture real quick. You can see the mountains behind us, and then that's me kneeling, and then Garrett, the guy I was just talking to, was standing behind me in the backwards hat, and then next to him is my buddy Drew, and then in front of Drew is a friend of mine also named Garrett. So all four of us went to climb Mount Lacan. That's here in Knoxville actually. It was really fun. There was snow at the top of the mountain when there wasn't snow at the bottom. It was actually really cool when you got up there and you went from having no snow to snow. I actually missed my friends so much that I tried to draw the picture with my hands of the one I just showed you. I'll actually show you. Some of it turned out okay, but some of it wasn't that good. I'm not the best at drawing. But I would actually love to see a picture of you and your friends. I'm thinking about my friends so much and I miss them. I would love to see your friends. If you want to pause the video and then draw a picture of you and your friends, and that way you can post it and I can see it. That way when I show you the picture I drew upstairs, I can be looking at the picture of you drew of your friends. It could be a friend from school or from church. It can be a cousin. You know what? It could even be a pet if your pet is your best friend. I know some people that love their pets a lot. That sounds like a really good idea. I would love to see your friends. So why don't you pause it and draw that picture and post it, and then I'll meet you upstairs in just a second to show you the picture I drew. Okay, I'll see you all in a second. There you guys are. So, like I said, this is the picture I drew of me and my friends. It's not the best, I know. I actually kind of liked how I did the mountains, even how I did the tree and the bush. I didn't think that was that bad. But I can't draw people at all, so I had to go with stick figures. So that's us, and I made us way too small. But I was still proud of it, and you know, when you have friends and you miss them, it doesn't matter how good the picture is. You're just glad to think about them and to think about the good times you've had with them. We're actually still talking about King David. I'm gonna put this on. So you remember, King David, get it? So we're still talking about King David. And do you remember the king before him? His name was King Saul. Now King Saul wasn't the best king, and King David is king now. But Saul had a son named Jonathan that was really good friends with David. So, even though Saul wasn't a great king, his son Jonathan and David were good friends. So one day, just like I was thinking of my friends, David was thinking about his friend Jonathan. And he said, man, where is Jonathan? I need to catch up with him. So he tried to find out if anybody from Jonathan's family was still alive and where they were. Because he had made a promise to Jonathan. Even though his father Saul wasn't going to be king anymore, David promised Jonathan that he would still show kindness to him. So, he went out to find anybody in Jonathan's family. The only one still alive was Jonathan's son, Mephibosheth. It's a tough word to say, tough name to say, so we might call him Meb, but his name is Mephibosheth. So, Jonathan's son, Meb, was the only one still alive. So David had Meb come to his castle. And when Meb got there, he was kind of intimidated because David was the king. So he bowed and he said, King David, I am your servant. And David said, whoa, whoa, whoa. You are not my servant. You're the son of my friend Jonathan. So how about this? He said, you will eat every meal at my palace with me. You remember the big palace we built last week? David said, you will come and sit at my table and eat every meal with me. Great, fantastic meals. And all the land that was your grandfather Saul's, which was a lot of land that's not his anymore, I'm going to give it back to you. So all that land is now yours, and you're going to live at the palace with me and eat every meal with me, the king. And he goes, David, why would you show me, Meb, such kindness? And David said, your father was my friend, and I cared about him, so I'm going to show kindness to you too. See, in the story, we see King David show a lot of kindness. You've probably heard of kindness before. Kindness is really just being friendly or generous to somebody. We talk about being kind all the time. Be kind to your siblings, be kind to your parents, kind to the people around you. So if you want to take a second, maybe think about some ways you can be kind. Kindness for me means maybe doing the dishes at home, taking out the garbage, doing chores like that without being asked to. It could be sitting down and listening to somebody and listening like I really care about them. There are a bunch of ways to be kind to people. And you see, King David was kind to Meb, even though he didn't have to be. And the thing is, the greatest gift of kindness that I can think of is God. God showed so much kindness to us that he sent Jesus to die for us so that we can be part of God's family forever. Now that's kindness. When David showed Meb kindness, he looked at David and he said, "Why would you, the king, show me so much kindness?" And that's kind of how I feel about God. When God was kind to me, he had no reason to be kind to me. I hadn't done anything for God. But God sent Jesus to die for me and said, "I want you to be part of my family and eat at my table," just like David said Meb can eat at his table. So you see, these stories that we're learning about have a lot to do with our lives. And how King David treated Meb is how God treats us if we're part of his family. So I want you to pause the video for a second, maybe look at your siblings, maybe look at your parents, and just kind of talk about ways that you've been kind to people before, or maybe that other people have been kind to you. I know sometimes Hannah will bring me coffee in the mornings, and that is very kind because I love having my morning coffee. So Hannah will wake up a little bit early and she will bring me coffee even though she doesn't have to. And so I let her know that that is very sweet and kind of her. So try to think of ways people have been kind to you, and also maybe think of ways that you've been kind to other people and talk about those examples with your family. And now, I want us to focus on the main point that we talked about last week too, of who is the perfect king. Well, Jesus is the perfect king. Just like David was a good king and showed kindness, Jesus is a perfect king. He lived a perfect life and he showed kindness beyond measure to everyone. So the perfect king is Jesus, the King of all kings. And we're actually going to go into our Bible verse. So if you have a Bible, pause the video and go get it real quick, because we're going to be in Psalm 145 in our key passage. And we're in Psalm 145, verse 13. I'm going to read it. "Your kingdom is an everlasting kingdom. Your rule is for all generations. The Lord is faithful in all his words and gracious in all his actions." Jesus' rule is forever. And he is kind and there is goodness in his words. Just like King David, but even better. So when we think about Jesus, we want to realize that he is the perfect king. And if we choose to follow him, he is our king. The Bible tells us that Jesus wants us to be like him. Even though we might not be able to be kings, we can be kind to people. So as we finish up, I want you to think about the people around you. The people you see on a day-to-day basis. Close your eyes and think about it. I want you to think about how you can be kind. Like I said, it can be doing acts of service, like chores or doing something nice. Or it can be listening to somebody. Sometimes people like being listened to, sitting down and being asked questions and listening to like you really care about what's going on in their life. So, try and think of ways to be nice. I promise I will too. I want you to know that I love you, your church loves you, your parents love you, and God and Jesus definitely love you. Hope you have a great Sunday.